Hey Campfire Colorado subscribers, and welcome back. We are here at Mile High Station. I'm Matt Connolly. This is Joe O'Day. We are in the house that Joe built here at Mile High Station, just right across the South Platte River from Mile High Stadium itself. Joe, the Broncos are playing right now. We wanted to take a chance to talk to you about the U.S. Senate campaign that you're engaged in here in Colorado. You're running against U.S. Senator Michael Bennet. You've done a lot of interviews, Joe, here at Campfire Colorado. We wanted to give you a chance to talk about who is Joe O'Day. How did you get here? We're sitting in Mile High Station, a building that you built. It's filled with all these great Broncos fans. But Joe, it wasn't long ago that you weren't in front of the camera here. You were in the back washing dishes when you were paying your way through high school. You started from very humble roots. Tell us about that journey through life to get from the kid washing dishes to pay his way through life to here in a building that you yourself built.
Matt, thanks for having me again tonight. I appreciate it. This is a really important Senate campaign. This could be the difference between the 51st senator that would control that Senate and make sure that Schumer's no longer in charge of the U.S. Senate. So I'm excited about it. Michael Bennet and I couldn't be any more different. He's had a silver spoon in his mouth since he started. I've worked for everything. I've always been the underdog. That's how I'll continue. We're down a couple points right now in the polls. Doesn't make a difference because I know Colorado wants change and they want somebody different. They want a business leader that's going to make those tough decisions. They want me to be the one to negotiate the Colorado River Pact in 2026. We don't need Michael Bennet a pillow. He won't do anything. He hasn't done anything for our state. That's why I jumped in this race. I love the humble beginnings part that you talked about, but that's me, right? My dad jerked me out of a public school back in junior high school because I didn't do so well. And he gave me a tuition that I could pay myself with a dishwashing job to an all-boys Catholic school where the nuns were the ones that kept me in line. And I needed that. That was a monumental decision in my life. My wife and I love this building. We took it over in 1999, renovated it. We've been open for almost 22 years now. And you can see the buzz in here tonight. You can hardly hear.
Absolutely,
I mean, this is a great venue to be in. Everybody stops by here. We do about 3,000 people come through. We'll do 1,800 burgers and brats. Got great wings. Got a great quesadilla. If you come in here for the chicken quesadilla, that is my favorite. I got to tell you. And it wasn't just me, it's a bunch of people that got together on Team Joe. That's always how I've done my life. It's always about team. It's always about what we can do and not about me. And that's the difference between me and Michael Bennet. It's about him. It's about staying in power. This is a play for Colorado. This is a play for national politics. We're going to do really well in November. We're going to turn a lot of heads when Colorado is the state that turns the Senate. 51st. I'm going to be it. I'm excited about it.
I love it. Joe, you mentioned silver spoon, and what our viewers probably won't see is that before we started this interview, you're running around this place, man. You're bussing tables. Your wife Celeste is down there serving beers to people here, getting ready to watch the Broncos game. I mean, you practice what you preach. I don't think Michael Bennett's out there anywhere doing anything even close to that. He's usually the guy who's getting his table bussed by someone else. Joe, talk about, the everyday hard work grind that it takes to build a business, to get somewhere like this. You said that it's about we, it's not about me. In Washington, D.C., there's a lot of it being about me and not about we. Talk to us about how when you go to Washington, you're going to maintain that same type of work ethic and that same type of focus on the people that are here around us here and here in the state of Colorado, instead of becoming one of these politicians who their only goal is to get on the news and talk about controversial subjects. Talk to us about your philosophy and how you're going to stay true to your roots.
Well, look, it's going to be good working Americans here in Colorado that are going to send me to the U.S. Senate. And I take that very seriously. I'm not a party guy. As you can see, I bucked the party on the way through here. I'm about what's good for Colorado. My opponent, Michael Bennett's been a rubber stamp for the Democratic Party since he's been there.
100% of the time.
100% with Schumer, 98% with Joe Biden. The guy is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. That's not Colorado. Colorado wants a change. They're ready for somebody that'll stand up for working Americans here in Colorado. You can't kill our energy and then charge working Americans $5 for gas. That doesn't work. Look at our grocery bills right now. They're extreme. We're paying almost 20% more than we did when Biden took office a year and a half ago. Not to mention rents are at an all-time high. People are feeling the pinch right now. They're having to make choices between heating their buildings this next winter and putting groceries on the table. That's not the Colorado I know. That's the Colorado that I'm going to defend. I'm going to make sure we cut the frivolous spending. I'm going to make sure we get our gas and oil companies back up and running here in Colorado. They should be drilling right now so that we can flood the market and bring these prices down. We don't have a grid that's ready for electric cars yet. We're not ready. We need to recognize that. We need to do prudent things that help our world. At the same time, we can't saddle that on the back of working Americans. And that's why I'm in this race. People are recognizing that. When I go to Washington, I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to change. I'm going to be rock solid for Colorado.
Perfect. Joe, another fact I think a lot of people might not know is that you were adopted at birth. Your father was a police officer here in Denver. He actually restarted the Mounted Division of the Denver Police Department. Tell us what it was like growing up in a law enforcement family, and then also just what the last few years here in Colorado and across the country have been like, looking at how members of the opposite party have treated our law enforcement, what our communities here in Colorado have become with the out-of-control crime, with drugs coming over from the southern border, policies supported by your opponent, Michael Bennett.
You're spot on. I was adopted at birth. Great family. I believe in that. If we want to change hearts and minds, we've got to make adoption easier. We need to use tax credits or whatever we can to make that easier for a woman to carry to term and turn it over to loving parents, just like happened to me, which was phenomenal. My dad did restart the Mounted Patrol back in 1972. I was over at the Hyde Party for the National Western and saw some of the members of the Mounted Patrol here the other day.
Nice.
They love it. They use it for crowd control. It's really part of our culture here in Colorado. Colorado's a cowboy state. I still ride horses all the time. Love my horses. I've been doing that all my life. But Colorado's in trouble right now. When you look at the rising crime here that's in Denver, we've got homelessness here right around our building. We're having to clean up our parking lot on the weekends. A lot of needles, a lot of fentanyl. We got people somebody died not too far from here, fentanyl overdose. And that's coming across the southern border. And when you talk to Chief of Police Paul Pazin, and he tells you it's coming straight up I-25, he means it. And we've got to do better. That border needs to be shut. Democrats are out of touch. They're out of touch with 87,000 IRS agents they want to send on to working Americans here to shake us down. They're out of touch when it comes to student loan transfer that they just pushed on the working Americans. You know, we don't want to pay somebody else's tuition. That's not what we're about. They're out of touch with this border. They need to pay attention to this. They're killing our kids here in Colorado. We're number 2 in fentanyl deaths. We had 1,800 drug overdoses last year here in Colorado. It's the number 1 killer for people from 18 to 45. That's unacceptable. We need change here in Colorado. We need to shore that border up, and we need to make sure that we keep criminals in jail, and that's why I'm running. We need that kind of change here.
Absolutely. I've been out on the trail with you over the last few weeks and months in this Senate campaign. One of the biggest stars of your campaign, I think, is your wife, Celeste.
Oh, she's awesome.
Who, as I said, is down here. She's serving beers to Broncos fans. Just tell us about what it's meant to have your wife, Celeste, out on the campaign trail with you. You have a great family. They've been out. They've been helping you and supporting you. Coloradans, you know, this state, we're a big state that's built on family, that's built on community. Talk to us about what that's going to mean to you through the campaign, and then what that is going to mean to you in Washington, D.C. as well to have that support.
Well, my wife's phenomenal. As you can see, we've been together for over 40 years. She's been the best part of my life. Her and I are partners. We're running together. I wouldn't have got into this campaign unless she was on board. She's all in. I'm just thankful that I'm not running against her because she's a much better candidate than I would be. She's very vocal. She believes in what we're about. And a lot of her is me. And so when you get the two of us together, I think we bring a balance to things. She holds me accountable, and she makes sure that, you know, we're marching in the right direction. She's really helped me with the policy on health care. where we need to make sure that we keep the piece of Obamacare that protects pre-existing conditions for Coloradans. That's important here. She's been all about the Dreamers getting their citizenship. I think that's important as well. They're here for no fault of their own. And if we're going to fix our border and secure our border, we also got to fix our immigration system. She immigrated here, her granddad did some 50, 60 years ago. And so she's been, an immigrant, a benefit of having an immigrant here in Colorado. We need to be able to protect that as well. We need a system that'll work. We need a process that gets them through and gets them the citizenship that they need so they can help. 3.7% unemployment right now, we can use some help. I know my company would hire 50 more people if we could get them to come to work here in Colorado.
Joe, Campfire Colorado is a conservative voice for the people. You talked about your family's influence on you, your wife's influence. Washington, D.C. is a beautiful city full of beautiful monuments. It represents a lot of things that are great about this country. But a lot of the people that occupy that city are not great people. It's full of politicians. It's full of yes men and staffers to those politicians. When you go to Washington, D.C., how do you plan to stay true to this Joe O'Dea, stay true to these people here in this building, and really make sure that you're doing what's right for the people of Colorado and not afraid to say no sometimes?
Well, you can see what happened to Michael Bennet. He ran on all these policies and he has not delivered for Colorado at all. He's been a rubber stamp for the Democratic Party since he got there, and that's not acceptable. That's not what Coloradans want. I'm a team guy. I'm about Team Colorado, and that's why I got in this race. I want to represent working Americans. We need a voice in the U.S. Senate that says, quit the frivolous spending, let's get law and order restored, and let's back our military, which the Democratic Party has abandoned all those issues. And that's going to be me. That's why I'm running. I won't get gobbled up by Washington. I've been running my business all my life. I know how to negotiate. I know how to tell people, no, that's not Joe O'Dea. And I have a backbone. I am who I am. You're getting what you're getting, and I won't back down. I'm going to push Colorado first every day I'm in the U.S. Senate. And that's not what we have right now. That's why we need the change.
Amen. Joe O'Dea, thank you so much for joining us. Campfire Colorado subscribers, thank you for tuning in. If you're interested in being one of the first people to see these interviews in the future, subscribe to Campfire Coffee, our morning newsletter. It's only $5 a month, exclusive content. Stay tuned for more fun stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for joining us.